Welcome to another installment of 5 Minute Licks. I hope you're all fantastic. I haven't had any run-ins with truck drivers the last week or so I don't have any real anecdotes or insights into this lick other than I think it kind of sounds like a hybrid of Django Reinhardt and Marty Friedman, and I'll play it here. It's a fun lick that's relatively simple to get your fingers around, and if you can bust it out in a jam session or something like that, you'll turn a lot of heads. So there's two things going on here. The first one, I'm thinking of the notes of a C major arpeggio, which, if you're unfamiliar with it, I'm going to get you to play with your middle finger for every single note, which feels like you're just learning guitar for the first time. So let's start on a low C in standard tuning and then work our way up. So fret 3 on the A string if you're in standard tuning and you want to play along. This is how I map the notes out. You don't have to put that kind of weird pick scratch in there that I did, but it's handy to think about the intervals here. We've got root, third, fifth, root, third, fifth, and then the root note again. The reason I'm getting you to play them all with your middle finger is because we want to take that, and I just kind of think of like that's, you know, when you get a coloring book at school and they tell you not to scribble outside the lines, well, they're the lines, and we're going to scribble on both sides of the lines with this idea. I'll do it on C. We're going to play the note C, C sharp, C, and B. So up a fret and then down a fret for 4 notes. Playing it with a clean tone, it kind of brings the Django gypsy jazz vibe. We'll hear it with a bunch of distortion again in a second. And you can see why I got you to practice those notes for C major with your middle finger, because you're going to do this around every single one of those notes. Like I said, it's kind of like you go to one point, you scribble around the note, the next note, you scribble around it, and it just gives you that core kind of Phrygian dominant sound, while also just being a relatively straightforward thing to practice. You can practice one thing with your left hand and apply it to that outline, and then you get the lick. So we get this. So you can see why practicing that position shift with your middle finger is really handy. You want to get it up to this sort of speed. And then you can go. You can, of course, use legato if you want to do that. And it sounds way better with a bunch of distortion like this. You can, of course, scoot around through there. You can run it up and down. You can stay in particular sections. You can kind of do whatever you want with this particular lick. There is an element of it that is kind of nonsensical because there's all those chromatic notes, and there's an element which really sits in the pocket nicely because we're playing C major over C Phrygian dominant. We're just kind of ramming home that whole point there. I think it's just a fun one where it's like you can get a really fun Phrygian dominant sound without having to know the scale. You just need to know an arpeggio and one kind of finger twitch and you're good to go. As I always say on these videos, take this, make it your own, have some fun with it, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. If you want to support the channel, there are links to my music and my Patreon in the video description. Have a great weekend. I'll see you real soon.